Minnesota Senator Al Franken announcing his resignation from the Senate yesterday after facing mounting accusations of sexual misconduct and growing calls, even from his fellow Democrats, to step down. But at times, he struck a defiant tone in his remarks.
Some of the allegations against me are simply not true. I am leaving while a man who has bragged on tape about his history of sexual assault sits in the Oval Office, and a man who has repeatedly preyed on young girls campaigns for the Senate with the full support of his party.
So how did the media handle all of this? Joining me for more on this, Beverly Hallberg, president of the District Media Group and a fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Aaron Delmore is senior political correspondent for Bustle.com. Thanks, both of you, for being here.
Thank you.
So, Beverly, break it down for us. It was a resignation speech, but it was not exactly filled with remorse, I guess.
No, I would say it was a case study of how not to apologize. If someone wants to teach their child how to apologize, let them watch this speech and tell them to do the exact opposite. What you found even in that clip that you just played is he didn't even admit any fault. And then he moved on to pointing out President Trump and Roy Moore, even though he didn't say them by name, people knew what he was alluding to. And he didn't even say, I'm sorry. Think about the victims, think about the women who have spoken out, especially when there's photographic evidence, and to not have an apology. I mean, it's almost laughable that this was even considered any kind of apology. And I think it's suspect to see whether or not he is going to resign, because it wasn't immediate a resignation. And he said in a few weeks. So I think he still may be waiting it out.
On ABC World News, Aaron, much of the time during this report on Franken's resignation, most of it was actually devoted to his charges against the president and Roy Moore. Is that appropriate? Is that good journalism? Or are they simply following the senator's lead?
The senator's speech was viewed as an announcement of his resignation, and the media, I think, did a good job on not calling it out as an apology speech, because Franken offered no apology. Now, that in itself is a story.
Yeah, he apologized. He apologized to Leanne Tweeden,
he did,
whose charges first got this ball rolling against him some weeks ago.
That's right. He did issue an apology to Leanne Tweeden. He also said, I don't remember this situation in the same way she does. He didn't offer an apology on some of the other allegations that came forward, and certainly wasn't going to do so on the Senate floor yesterday. But the fact that he didn't offer an apology is being criticized by people in the media, and certainly by people on both sides.
Well, it did seem strange, Beverly, that, you know, he's being driven out of office essentially by this behavior, but he doesn't apologize for it.
Yeah, and this is also because of the mounting pressure that his Democratic colleagues have put on him. We saw the same thing with Conyers, where he has said he's not going to run for re-election. He's resigning as well. So this is coming from colleagues pushing him. And I also think that the Democrats are doing this in preparation for the special election next week to say, hey, we told our guys to go, are Republicans going to tell their guys to go? So I also think that there is a political expediency that they're trying to push forward on this.
There is a conspiracy theory out there, Aaron, that says Democrats know that they are not going to lose the seats being vacated by John Conyers and Senator Franken, because Democrats, you know, will appoint whoever takes those seats. So by essentially making them the sacrificial lambs of this Congress, they can then point the finger back at Republicans when Republican misdeeds come to light. What do you think?
The Democrats are trying to stake out a position here and say, as a party, we find this behavior unacceptable. But you've got to focus on those words, this behavior. Now, Senator Gillibrand made a call to draw a set of standards in the Senate and in Congress. And that's what's going to be key in the coming time. Basically, there is no standard now that's being equally applied to all members. You see some members giving up their seats, you see others hanging in, and so much of this conversation comes down to how that lawmaker reacts. Does he embrace the victims? Does he say, I just believe that everyone has a right to be heard here? Or does he say, I don't know these people, there's nothing there? Because the tougher stance here seems to have some traction with voters.
Aaron Delmore from Bustle.com, Beverly Hallberg from the District Media Group. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.